the background. Hello, we're back. Console Shock. I'm Trev. Who are you? You're Stu. Hello, Stu. We lost you.
Hello. Are we
Hello.
online?
I'm online. I just introduced me and you, and then it went quiet, so that completely failed.
I didn't hear any of the introduction.
Oh, in that
Have
case,
you done it?
It didn't happen. In that case, it didn't actually get recorded. That's all right then. Hey, Console Shock, we're back.
With Stu.
We're back, baby. It's Stu, and it's Trev.
Yeah.
We are fully here. It's been a while, isn't it? It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, and I've got my little icon there of Hulk Hogan, my hero, my right-wing hero.
He'll be at the rally.
I'll be at the rally.
The weekend. The Valley.
I've told you I keep on getting in trouble because I
like
keep on writing. Yeah, just like Hulk Hogan. I keep on writing on my Facebook is "Come on, you whites, whites. The whites are going to win." I keep on writing on my Facebook, and of course, because I'm a Dover Athletic fan, and they are known as
the rally you're
whites.
going to. The rally you're going to is in support of the whites, isn't it? But the team,
in support
Dover Athletic.
The Dover Athletic, also known as the Whites.
So you wear a T-shirt saying "I love whites," the whites, and you walk around Croydon wearing that.
It says whites. The whites are always right.
We still talk about Dover Athletic, right? Please tell me we're not talking about Dover Athletic.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't.
Even the Cliffs are white there, you know. It's like just a popular colour around.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it. Of course, yeah. You got you've got the White Cliffs and the crushing of the waves. And the
Eurotunnel.
Things like that.
Anyway,
Eurotunnel.
Video games, which
video games
about us talking about them.
Gamescom.
The com of the games.
Yeah, over in Germany.
Yeah. What was that about?
Well, I watched a few things about it, and I was quite excited about the actually what Microsoft were doing. They had quite a few games that genuinely excited me, as in Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
What were the other ones? Crackdown 3.
Quantum Break.
Oh, that didn't excite me. The new
It's a third-person cover-based shooter. You should be all over that.
I know, but you do a little bit of cover-based shooting, and then they show you an episode of 24 or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm like, oh, great, a sci-fi show.
Machine. Time amplified gameplay is what's his name? What's the dude the guy that runs Remedy, and he was the face of the Max Payne face. Oh, I've forgotten his name, but yeah, him. Anyway, carry on.
Jason Statham. Streatham.
No, that's the Cockney angry actor bloke, isn't it? Oh, yes, what's his name? Right, I'm looking it up. Remedy. Of course, they made like Alan Wake. Remedy and Entity. Right, I'm looking it up right now.
I can see you on the screen here.
I'm showing it. Yeah. Sam Lake. That's it, Sam Lake. People wouldn't recognise his face because his face was texture mapped onto Max Payne in the first Max Payne.
Why have we got a picture of Nico from Grand Theft Auto 4 in the background?
Because I've been playing it recently, the PC version.
Grand Theft Auto 4?
Yeah, alongside 5. And it's one of those games, we're going to sidetrack now into that. It's one of those games where I had it at the time and I played it a lot, and then I kind of just found another game or something, so I got like halfway through and sort of just left it. And it kind of got abandoned. And since I've sort of got into PC gaming, I've kind of tried to rediscover some of the PC versions of these sort of 360 games, and even some the gen before that, and getting them going on the gaming PC. I've been doing that. So I'll go into that in more detail later. But yeah, that's why.
Cool. So what was the biggest thing that excited you about Gamescom?
Quantum Break. For me,
really?
Yeah, because it was supposed to come out with the Xbox One, wasn't it? In 2013, and it got delayed. And now there's even like, pardon my coughing, I've got a bit of a cough at the moment. Yeah, it's been delayed and delayed, and then they've been showing little bits of gameplay over the last sort of 18 months. And now they seem to have they've got the guy that played Iceman, I've forgotten his name, in the X-Men films. He's now the main character, when before it was just some other actor. I guess it was the guy that did his voice, was like the character's voice at that time. But they seem to have replaced that guy completely with this X-Men dude. And the box art's changed now. The gameplay's the same. They've just kind of modified the character model of the main character, I guess, to look more like this.
Maybe I've got to look into it a little bit more, but to me, it just...
Well, it's a cover-based third-person shooter. Yeah.
Well, I should like it, then. It is my genre of choice.
But for people that don't know, as you touched upon, you have to watch a TV series at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. It's, well, you know, if the TV series is good and things like that, and it will drive me insane if I'm really enjoying the TV series, and then
I'll play the game for a couple of hours.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the game or something. I can't, and I might just not be good enough to get on to the next episode.
I think Sam Lake played like Night Trap and thought, oh, imagine what a modern version of this would be. Maybe you just watch the video bits separately and the gameplay bits are an actual game. And he kind of ran with it, and then we ended up with a Quantum Break.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's what I think happened. Should just remake Night Trap if that was the case. I'll be up for that.
I don't think they should remake Night Trap.
I actually like it.
You like Night Trap?
I like Night Trap. It was the best FMV. I'm talking mainly about the 3DO version. That's the one that
I think saying Night Trap is the best full motion video game is like saying
the shit I had last week was a bit better than the one the day before, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, or I don't know. It's almost like just something that's really shit. It's the best one of a shit bunch. It was the best
stabbing I had on my way home from work because I only got stabbed once instead of twice. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I like it. It's cheesy. It's cheesy, which makes it entertaining, and the occasional bits where you press a button are kind of funny. So yeah, but you know that was all CDs were good for in the 90s.
Did you hear about O.J. Simpson?
Last heard about him, he was still saying he didn't kill his wife.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
He was in a game at Gamescom.
No, it's got nothing to do with Gamescom. But I was listening to another podcast, and they did this. He did a hidden camera sort of prank show 10 years after, and it was a bit of a disaster. And I want to sort of see if anyone has seen it, because I want to watch it now. But anyway, that's off topic.
Thanks for that, Stu.
Yeah, no problem.
Has a copy of this O.J. Simpson hidden camera show, forward it to...
It's called O.J. Simpson, You've Been Juiced.
Are you being serious?
I am, yeah. Listen to This American Life last week. Yeah, it's very interesting. There you go.
I hope you get it. I hope you get a copy.
Apparently only hundreds were ever sold.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. It's,
Jesus.
Didn't do that well.
No. We're struggling with this Gamescom bit, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. True. So,
let's play. Let's face it. I just read your over a bit the next time. On? Yeah. Yeah.
Gamescom.
Stu doesn't like it, even though it's a cover-based shooter. So yeah.
But I was more.
That's Gamescom, guys. Cheers.
Crackdown looked good.
It's a bit weird though, isn't it? Because you have E3 and you're like, yeah, E3 amazing. Then they just plonk this random expo, whatever you call these things, like for a couple of weeks after, and it's like, what else is there going to be? They would have saved all the big stuff for E3. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's just a night away for the Europeans to play these games that were mentioned at E3. I don't really get it. I can't remember any big announcement ever being from Gamescom. I'm sure someone will be in the comments will be like, oh, you know, this got announced like in 2008, but
yeah. And Sony didn't even turn up to it.
No, they didn't, did they? Whereas Microsoft actually, Phil Spencer, like proper, like turned up and did a little keynote thing. So they're being pretty good at that PR stuff at the moment. So
yeah, that I mean that goes on to a little bit what we're talking about later, and how I think the Xbox One is a different console to what it was when it was released.
Yes.
And you know, before it always, you know, be about football and, you know, on demand fantasy football teams, and
it was just basically
and motion
TV,
and Snap, and now you don't even hear about that at all.
No.
And into the fact that someone came into the shop on Saturday or Sunday and they said to me, "Oh, I've got an Xbox One. Connect games have you got?" And I was just right, Xbox One Connect. There's I think there's Connect Sports,
the rivals,
and we didn't have the point was we've got a really big selection of Xbox One games, but none of them use the
Connect.
Connect.
The only one that I played to any extent was Connect Sports, the rivals, and that I played the jet ski, and I was actually impressed by it. It was actually really accurate. I was sat there in front of my telly looking like a complete bellend. Which Trevor, I do whether I'm doing Connect or not.
Like to have seen you
sat in front of the telly.
Jet ski.
Yeah. You literally have to sort of, you can do it either standing up or sitting down. It tells you can do it either standing up or sitting down, with just your arms out as if you were handling the handlebar on the jet ski, and you literally move it like you would if you're on a real one. Again, excuse me. It's actually controlled quite accurately on to my movements, which I was actually surprised at. So I felt like I was actually really in control. But that was the only game that I played in it. I think I traded it in a few weeks later. And it was made by Rare as well, which is kind of like, you know, bloody hell, that's what they're doing now, which is kind of tragic. But there was other mini games in it, but I didn't get around to playing them. I might get it again at some point. It's like, I'm guessing it's like probably already down to like bargain bin sort of, you know. I
can't imagine it costs a lot, but
no, I'll pay full whack for it. But
yeah, the point is that, you know, there aren't many Connect games out there that you can play, really.
So. No, I mainly use it to turn off the telly. That was and turning off the telly and pausing things are the best things for it. And turning it on and off and pausing things. Although it never really worked with my girlfriend's voice as often as it did with mine. But that might be because of, well, I've got an annoying, loud, booming voice, as you can hear. But it might also be where I tend to sit in front of the telly, whereas my girlfriend's off to the side. Because where our living room is configured. So that might be a factor. But yeah, it's, you know, I'm not really using it to the extent that Microsoft wanted you to use it.
No. Do you ever go Snap?
What? No, because it was. I don't really get it. You can play a game and have a tiny little TV show playing off to the top right.
But you've got a massive TV though.
Yeah, but even then, but even then, you can't hear it because you either choose the game audio or the. Well, you used to do it simultaneously, which I thought was like, this is ridiculous.
Oh no, that's not good. That'll be a bit of a.
Yeah, the game audio and TV ought to be mixed, with one slightly louder than the other. I think it was. I think now you can adjust the level, but at the time you couldn't when it came out, and and you can either have one muted or the other muted, but. It's weird. I mean, with my living room, I've got my own little gaming rig thingy that has its own telly. So if I want to watch TV and play a game, I can actually do it and, you know, have it in a way that's kind of works. But yeah, if it's some new TV, if it's like, you know, a show that I like, or a new episode of a TV show that I watch, like The Walking Dead, I wouldn't be playing a game at the same time because I wouldn't be able to focus on it. So. If it was something that I really wanted to watch, I'll just watch the telly. I won't play a game at the same time. So if it's a football match or something, then I can do more than one thing. I can play a game with a story or something and have the football in the background because you haven't got to completely stare at the other, the football the whole time. But yeah, it was a silly thing. I'm sure some people found it useful, but I couldn't really make a use for it.
No, the same here. Well, what do you think, sort of moving on from Gamescom, that we talked thoroughly about, is what's it called? Rocket League.
Rocket League. You have to describe? I have heard of it. I can't remember what it actually is.
Well, I actually saying that I don't know if it's on the Xbox One yet, but it came out last month as the free game on PlayStation Plus, and I downloaded it, and it's basically sort of 3-on-3 where you're all in cars, and then you've got a great big football, and you've got to try and hit the ball into the goal. So it's like, you know, football, but with cars, and there's only sort of 3 players on each team. I think 3 or 4, something like that. I played it a little bit, but it's, to be honest with you, I thought you would have been well into that. And
well, it doesn't sound like Speedball, so
no, you're actually driving a car.
Yeah,
so it's more like, if anything, sort of maybe like a really sort of fast version of Sabutio or things like that. The way you can't really dribble with the ball. You've got to try and, everyone's driving and trying to hit the ball, and you've got to try and knock it towards the opponent's goal. Such as football, and you're in a great big sort of 3D, obviously environment, and it's been just one of those games that, much like sort of Minecraft or something. It's the YouTube community, yeah, and it's become one of the biggest watched games on Twitch TV, which says a lot.
Well, the point is, Stu, would you, what is it, £10 normally or something? Would you have paid £10 to buy it if it was only?
I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have done, but I did download it as part of the PlayStation Plus membership, so I have got it on my machine. Yeah, but it was a freebie.
That's normally the barometer, isn't it? Would you have paid for it? But I guess, if it's as popular as you say, then people, although obviously have already been buying it in large volumes.
Yeah, so I think I've quite a few people. I need to get on Steam as well. Maybe I'm not too sure, but I know it's coming out to a lot of other systems as well. So
I think the only reinterpretation of a real sport that I really, really enjoyed would have been Speedball 2 Brutal Deluxe on the Amiga, because that was absolutely brilliant. And they've tried to remake it about 1 billion times, and it's always kind of failed. I think every time I hear about a remake has come out, there was it's not as good as the original, and you might as well just go and play the original. So I don't know why they can't seem to crack. I think it's because it's never the original Bitmap Brothers team. Yeah, I could be wrong, or maybe they've just gone crap these days. But
well, you don't heard. I haven't heard of Bitmap Brothers for years and years. Really,
no, I think they've been bought, haven't they? I think they must have been bought by someone. But yeah, whoever it is that handles these remakes, there's been a couple. I think there was a PS1 Speedball game which was actually all right. Like Speedball 2100 or something.
Oh, there was, wasn't there? Yeah, but they haven't. That
was actually good.
Done one since then. Have they?
No, there have. Yeah, there was Speedball 2 HD. And I think there was like an Xbox Live Arcade. Like, was it that? It might have been that actually. Yeah, but I never got them because the reviews are always kind of like, it's not as good as the original. So if I play it, I tend to fire up either a real Amiga if I could be bothered to dig it out, or I'll use an emulator and just play it on that. There was a Mega Drive version, and I think even a Master System, a Game Boy version, but the Amiga had the best like sound and all that. So
yeah, everything was better on the Amiga.
Yeah, unless it was on the Atari ST.
Well, no, the Amiga was better than the Atari ST. I think we talked about this before, Trevor, and I think I'm right, and you conceded that I was right. And
no, I agree. The Amiga's better.
Yeah, the Amigas.
Amiga, I was always an Amiga fan. I like the ST now. I've developed an appreciation for it in my later years. But at the time, it was just like, you're an idiot if you got an Atari ST. Just put 2 games side by side, same game, Atari version, Amiga version, done. The argument would have been instantly over. It's not like these days where it's like, oh yeah, the PS4 version of Witcher 3 has 10 more lines of horizontal resolution. Gutted, you Xbox idiots. And it's just like, seriously, people aren't going to notice that stuff. In those days, it was like literally night and day when you had a multi-plat game, even between the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo. Sorry, Mega Drive, fans, but the Super Nintendo was better with multi-plats.
But the Mega Drive had blast processing.
It did, and it did what Nintendo don't. You know.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
I don't remember. I don't remember what they didn't really do those ads here though, did they? There wasn't like a direct like Nintendo
No,
ad. It was just generally, yeah, Mega Drive. Woo! They never really did that.
no, we got Sega ages.
Cyber Razor
Didn't
Cut.
we?
You got the Cyber Razor Cut, and you get an ad, which I think was a Game Gear ad. I think actually, was it? Was it Mega Drive ad? I think it was Mega Drive ad, and it was like the Pirate TV Sega ads, which were awesome, by the way. But Nintendo just had like Rick Mail, didn't it? Like playing Mario All Stars and like Star Fox Wing, even.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. What do you think, Trevor? What do you think about Patreon for YouTubers?
Well, I think it's a good idea.
Should we just explain, if any of our listeners aren't aware of what Patreon is, what is Patreon?
Do you actually know?
I know. Do you want to explain it, or shall I?
Yeah, I'll explain. Okay, so Patreon is basically. I remember Rich did it, Review Tech USA, and it kind of failed, I think, and he had to stop. But basically, what it is, it's just a little thing where you can donate money to a YouTuber, or is it just YouTube? I could be right. It could be other things. But yeah, mainly it's for YouTubers, where obviously their content normally is free. But there are, they can basically use this page to allow their Patreon page account, whatever, to allow people to donate to them, or I think you could set up a subscription, like a monthly donation. Pay them anything from like, I don't know if they set amounts that you pay them, or is it just you can pay 1p, or you can pay 50 million quid if you wanted. The idea being it'll help them to keep their channel, to keep them going, essentially, on top of, like Review Tech USA is a relatively large, well, I guess it's not like PewDiePie, is it? But like a small to medium popularity channel. So he can't be like PewDiePie and literally live off it. He has to have a job and all that stuff. But Patreon allows him to top up his money that he gets from the adverts on YouTube, in addition to any sponsor things that he does. Although he signed up to a network. There's lots of these networks that live in YouTube
and I don't quite understand what the networks are.
A good one is if you're into, you probably have encountered this yourself if you watch like Game Chasers. Did you watch the Game Chasers?
Oh yeah,
Billy and thingy. The Game Chasers. They're part of a Retroware TV YouTube network. It's basically this one. I think there's this one dude that started Retroware TV. He had his own little channel. He got bigger, bigger, bigger. Then he started asking other YouTubers that he liked, you know what? You can host your videos on my channel from now on. You'll get all of my subscribers, and they'll get yours, and I'll give you a percentage of my ad revenue. I'll get a bit of yours. And then I'll get these other YouTubers also to join him, like one big ass network within YouTube, and the wealth gets spread around and everything. That's basically what those networks are. But Patreon basically helps people top up their money, and you can choose to pay. You can choose to be a Patreon for someone or not. It's up to you. That's it. Well, I think it's a good idea. What about you?
Because I think it's a good idea, but why I sort of chose it as a sort of subject for this week is because YouTuber, a guy called Pete Dorr, he has been on YouTube probably for about 7-8 years, and I've watched him since he had about sort of 20,000 subscribers. I think he's over 100,000 now. Pete Dorr.
Oh, it's literally his name. All right.
Yeah, so you can probably easily find him, and I'll recommend anyone watching him.
What does he do?
And he just does. He just sits in front of his computer games and chats about them, and does pickups, and he's quite an engaging guy, really. But the point is, I've been watching him for all these years, and would I actually subscribe to anyone via Patreon and give them money? To be honest, I probably wouldn't.
Same here.
But I do certainly. I'd say never, but I certainly like the idea of it, because you click on the person's Patreon page and it tells you how much they're getting. And for example, what's it? LGR, Lazy Game Reviews.
I love that guy. Yeah.
He's absolutely brilliant, and he does 2 or 3 videos a week, and I genuinely
Mostly The Sims,
yeah, mostly The Sims and old reviews, and it's just
DOS
generally
games.
good. But the
Yeah.
point is, you look at his page, and he probably gets I think it's about $2,500 a month. He knows that's coming in, so
He's
he
part of a
can be.
network as well. I think he's retro. I think he might be RetroWare TV as well.
I don't know what network he's in, and of course he gets his ad revenue. So
Yeah.
from my point of view, I'm pleased that he's getting a pretty good wage for
Yeah.
doing something that he really likes doing.
I mean,
And
it's mental. Did you see the video? Was it a couple of months ago where he actually gave you a tour of like where he lives? He practically lives in a warehouse. It seems, and he's got he's got thousands of PC games and console games. Yeah, and he's kind of got a little kind of living room thing, I guess, in front of this kind of warehouse, and that's where he lives, and that's where he does his videos, and he literally does it full time. He hasn't got a job. Well, that's his job. So yeah.
well, yeah, from my point of view, these people on YouTube, if it wasn't monetized, or they couldn't, luckily enough to have these subscribers to Patreon, who he knows he's going to get his $2,000 each month. He would do a lot less videos, not because
Yeah.
he doesn't. He goes, oh well, I really like doing them, but because he'll have to have a job. So that's going to take up 40, 50 hours a week, and then he won't physically have the time. So from my point of view, I think all these YouTubers who have a sort of a bit of success, I'm really pleased for them, and I think they should all go down the route of Patreon. And then if you enjoy a YouTuber enough, and as I said, never say never. I wouldn't have a problem with paying $5 to someone that I think, oh, actually, yeah, he gives out really good content, and I really enjoy watching him. But I wouldn't do it for someone that I didn't much care for. But I think there's a lot of benefits to it, and I haven't got a problem when people come on and do these videos.
I think there's like a few ways, isn't there, that you could do it. I mean, I think if Patreon was kind of built into you, I don't know, it isn't, is it? It's not built into YouTube.
No, it's basically anyone. I could just set up a Patreon site and go, and not even do anything through YouTube, and go, everyone just send me £1 a month, and
No one would pay to
then
listen to us, though, would they?
no. Well, I don't know. Not for us. But the whole point is, it's not linked to anything. You could do a Patreon, and you could promise to walk to the park every day.
I think it's weird. It's like if there was like an overall subscription for YouTube where to watch anything you had to pay £10 a month, I'd probably do that because I watch YouTube a lot.
Well, I think, I'll be honest with you, I think that's the route they're going to go.
Yeah, for individual people, I'm not so enthusiastic to pay people when I know they're probably doing all right. A lot of them, but an overall subscription I probably would pay for because I watch it so much.
But I think they're going to do that. But what all the rumors are, it's going to be an overall subscription of $10, $8 a month, and then that would give you ad-free content, if that makes sense.
Pretty good, yeah.
So you won't get the ads at the start of the video. You won't get them to the side of the video. It won't stop. It won't do any of that. You can just watch the video from start to finish, and then the person you're watching later game reviews will not get the ad revenue. Fingers crossed, touch wood, he'll get a penny from each person who has paid for YouTube Plus subscription.
Yeah, and maybe they can link it to what videos you watch in particular. So somehow, based upon that, they'll divvy out your fee to the people that you actually watch. So
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And another thing, actually, talking about sort of people being paid is so I'm coughing now. I've called it. Is Twitch.
Yes.
Now with Twitch, you can actually, I think there's a payment thing actually in Twitch where you can you can
Yeah, it's kind of
share.
got a tip jar thing or something, isn't it? And you can sort of
You,
watch someone and pay
she,
them, donate to them.
and apparently a few people heard these they're on there, they're real big celebrities in the Twitch world, and they play Call of Duty all day or Grand Theft Auto or whatever they play.
Yeah.
They've had some people tip them, thousands of pounds at once. One person's tipped them like $10,000. But
Yeah,
usually,
yeah.
they're playing games all day and they'll earn, $300 worth of tips. Now, for them, well, not for them, for anyone, for me, that's a good salary.
Well, yeah, you can
And
live off that.
I'm actually very, very jealous of them. I'm going, oh God, I wish I was a YouTube celebrity. I wish I had the charisma and the know it all and
To me,
the
you have.
everything. Oh, thank you very much,
It's
Trevor.
okay. I'd watch you all day playing games. Sounds a
Yeah.
bit creepy, but yeah,
Um,
it's a
but
bit
the
weird.
the
I've streamed games gameplay. Well, not, but I haven't done it for a while. But I've done it when on my PS4 and on my Xbox One, and I think the most success I had was because I've done I used to play a lot of MLB 14, and I'd get a couple of people sort of dipping in and out of me playing that. Never more than sort of 3 or 4 at once. And I remember there was one night I was playing Transformers: Rise of the Dark Spark, which is a pretty crap Transformers game. But I like
Hmm.
Transformers, so I got it and played it. And there was I had about 80 people watching me play it at one stage. I mean, it was
Oh
kind of the
man.
day it came out. I think I literally plopped it in the Xbox, and it was
Yeah,
like
I was
last
going to
year this
say
came
you're
out.
the only person playing it on there,
I
man.
think it was literally, it probably was. I think it was literally, well, Transformers generally aren't obscure, but the game maybe was, it wasn't
Mm.
super mainstream, put it that way. So yeah, I had a ton of people watching me play it, and I had people commenting on it and everything. There were people saying, "Oh, what game's that? I want to get that game." And yeah, that was
Mm.
the one. That was my little 5 minutes of fame, was playing Rise of the Dark Spark, a crap Transformers game last year
Mm.
on the Xbox One. Yeah, but it never. I don't think. I don't think I could play a game all day, every day. It would lose its fun. I think, even if I was getting paid.
Well, I think I could. Yeah, I could, but y- yeah, you've got to.
I think
But
I'll do things like
yeah.
there was I was watching a cancer fundraiser for. This is something that we could do, perhaps actually,
Mm.
where this guy was trying to complete Grand Theft Auto 3 in under 3 hours, and he was streaming on Twitch, and people were donating, but it wasn't to him. Well, it was to him, but it was going to a cancer, research. So instead of going on
Yeah,
a big marathon or doing all these kind of physical things that you can do, which probably is better for you in the long run,
yeah.
this guy was actually just doing a games marathon, and he raised a few grand. And
Well,
there
that's
was like
good.
people do like overnight, like trying to complete like a big ass let's do all the Elder Scrolls games in in like 2 days. Um, so they literally do that and try and and they get people tipping them loads of money, and it all goes to charity. I think that's quite cool.
Mm.
And
No,
that's
that
something
that
maybe
that
you could do in like the store or something if you ever wanted to do a charity fundraiser thing. But yeah, I would do that as a one-off, but I don't think I could do 40 hours a week of just playing Grid GTA and Call of Duty online. It would just do my head in, I think.
I think so. But saying that, a lot of people play a real mixture of different games, and
I mean, you're living the
y-
dream, Stu. You own a computer game shop, but obviously you're not there the whole
wow.
time. But the difference is you don't play them, do you? So it's kind of they don't lose their you don't
No,
lose the
no.
enjoyment of the games themselves.
I mean, I couldn't. I do play quite a lot of games, but as I said before, not as much as I used to,
Yeah.
and things like that. So now this it's jumping a few points now, but we've already sort of talked
Yes.
about it in a limited about. But if you could name, in no particular order, sort of 3 YouTubers that you think our listeners would, well, no, 3 YouTubers your favorite 3 YouTubers and
Okay.
maybe do 2 of them sort of gaming ones, and then one of them as, you know, oh, I actually like a YouTuber that talks about football all day, or I like a YouTuber that talks about the war, or I like a YouTuber that, you know, discusses politics or something.
It's really weird actually because
You could do go ahead.
like after yes, just because you mentioned football. Football's probably after like video games is probably my it might be about joint on with football games. It's been like one of my favourite things in my life. But I don't really watch anybody on YouTube that talks about it or blogs about it because football's they will tend to talk about their team. So I'm not really interested in the person that wants to talk about Man United. There are obviously general football ones, but even I guess because I watch so much sport on telly, I kind of get all the bloggy type, you know, talking about it stuff. So I don't really feel I need to watch it on YouTube. Whereas video games isn't on TV, really.
No, it's not. No.
So YouTube is the only place to really get people talking about it. But probably 3 of them. I mentioned it already, but the Game Chasers is really good. I think they're Captain 8-Bit is the actual channel, but the show on there, the Game Chasers, is great. Basically, 2 guys, Billy and I've forgotten the other guy's name.
Billy.
They live.
Joe.
No. Billy and right. I've got to like internet this as well.
Oh man, that's
I feel bad having to do this because I'm just trying to like recommend them. I don't even remember the bloody name. The Game Chasers. Here they are. And the name is, there's Billy, in fact. There he is. But who are they? There we go. They even put these guys don't even put their names on there. Right, okay, whatever. One of them is called Billy.
Go back onto that and click on their Patreon link.
Where is it?
Go to about, and then click on the Patreon.
Oh, Patreon. Is it that?
No, left.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh.
It takes ages to load. There we go.
So they get 1,900.
So Billy again. Here we go.
Jay.
Billy and Jay. Yeah. Oh God, Billy and Jay. Melvor's brother.
When they get to a certain amount, if you scroll back up,
this guy. Woo. Yes.
And if you see milestone goals, if you scroll down a bit now, Jay can have making videos his main job, and then we can shoot way more episodes. So it's almost like if you obviously pay them more, they'll commit to doing more episodes.
Yeah,
you know, and so on. Because obviously. Yeah.
Because they've got jobs and stuff. But yeah, so basically the Game Chasers is one. It's kind of very much like something you'd have on the TLC channel on Sky. Like, you know, like got Storage Wars and like and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of filmed in that kind of format. Very, very professional. But it's just them going around. Very professional, yeah. And it's just them going around basically hunting retro games. Being American is obviously very biased towards American sort of retro gaming. So NES is obviously massive to them, whereas if it was over here, we'd be talking about let's hunt down an Amiga game or something. But it's really great. They go to flea markets and they go, and they just hunt old games. It's really, really entertaining. So yeah, check those guys out. Game Chasers. Next one, bit of a random one, probably Ashens.
Oh, I like Ashens. Yeah.
Ashens, great, yeah. Stuart Ashen. Mainly famous for filming reviews of stuff he got from Poundland on his couch. Literally like tats that he's found in Poundland. Very funny. And he does games as well. He's into games. He recently did a review on one of those Firecore Mega Drive handheld thingies.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, which is actually useful because he tells you which kind of models to get and not to get. He does like reviews of the Loot Crate and all those really crap monthly subscription geek box things that are rubbish.
Trevor, I actually like it. The ones where he people send him in food.
Oh, they're great. Yeah,
and he opens up some Japanese snacks or something.
Whole chicken in a can is a favourite of mine. Whole chicken in a can is great, and a Christmas dinner in a can. All those things, yeah. and he eats them and tends to, end up spitting them out very audibly on the camera. But they're great. They're really great. He's got a few other sketchy things as well that he does. He's got a movie as well, The Quest for the Game Child.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with Ashens. I love it when he's just being himself and chatting away on the sofa.
Yeah,
but I don't really want to watch.
I don't watch his other stuff really.
I just like him acting or him doing anything else is I don't know. There's something about it that
doesn't do it for you like the review stuff does.
Yeah, I hope he's not listening, but no, it doesn't really grab me.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, it's actually I could probably do a quick rundown of a few that you might share actually. So, a couple that have fallen by the wayside a little bit. I think we've talked about this one a little bit. Classic Game Room, Mark. These days, not so good because he tends to just be doing jokes most of the time. But if you sort of watch his videos from about 2008 till about 13, they were genuine kind of reviews. Funny, he was a funny guy, but it wasn't all the zaniness and like doing funny little sketches and all that stuff.
He's always talking about his comic book, isn't he? And he's
like Ethel the Cyber Ninja, whatever it is.
I'm in a space station and.
Yeah, and it's kind of fallen by the wayside a bit. It's still worth watching. Angry Video Game Nerd. He's still, to be fair, he's still pretty good. He's kind of the original, really. He's kind of the legend. But he genuinely is funny, and you should watch. If you haven't heard of him, if you listen to us and you haven't heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd, I'll be worried for you. But
you know what?
The king of all.
With the Angry Video Game Nerd, obviously the actual Angry Video Game Nerd videos are brilliant. But I actually like the ones he does every Monday with
James and Mike. Mondays.
Yeah, motherfucker Mike for some reason. Mike Natay, Mike Natay.
Yeah.
And they do. I've got what his name
is.
They
just like play a game, don't they? They just play like
James and Mike, and they just play.
James Rolfe is his name.
Yeah, they just play a game and chat about it for about 20 minutes. And actually, I find that just as engaging and interesting as the Angry Video Game Nerd because it's
not quite as zany. It's still funny, but it's like just banter. It's just the banter, isn't it? That you sort of watch
it's just the banter and those guys chatting about it. And they actually did another guy on the channel a few weeks ago. They had him showing you how to complete Battletoads, and he was actually really good. I think it's called Bootsy or Bootsy completes.
Yeah, he does the board game thing as well. We've got a board game thing as well, which is also quite good.
Yeah,
so he's expanded out to a few other kind of like just a board James. It's called.
Yeah, he does that. He's done that for ages, though. I think that one.
Yeah, well, that's about 2 or 3 years, isn't it now? Yeah, but it used to be just the Angry Video Game Nerd, and that was what he did. But they're very good. They're still pretty good, actually. Like the last one he did was the Hong Kong '97 one was great that he did like a few weeks ago.
What was that? Or the music?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play it now. Oh, it won't come.
Play it.
Let me see if I need to like get it. It's just really. It's just like literally a sample. There's it's already in my bloody search history. You see, I've been searching. Well, there it is. There's the video. Let's see if I can get this through my speakers. There you go.
Has it started? I can't hear it.
I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it through mine.
I can't hear it.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's come through. The audio's actually come through or not, but. If it hasn't, it's the really repetitive Japanese song that's about 9 seconds, not even that, about 3 seconds that loops in this game. But watch it. So there's him. I think Steve Benway.
Yes, I like Steve Benway. He wouldn't be in my top choice, but I do watch his stuff
a little bit as well. I have to say. I think he's at uni now, isn't he, or something? So he hasn't got time to do as many videos as he used to. But he's got a very big personal collection of video games. So he's probably you might have to dig in and get his older videos. But he used to do a Friday Talkie.
He hasn't done that for ages, has he?
No, he kept going about how much he hated it, didn't he? He's very much, you know, I'm gonna make what I want to make, and you're gonna shut up and watch it, which I kind of like about him. He doesn't take any crap from people that comment, you know. There's him, Review Tech USA that we always seem to mention. Rich,
Yeah,
really good, just general kind of little 4 or 5 minute comments on news, really, video game news, isn't it?
I do get the opinion. Sometimes I do end up shouting at him.
Yeah, most of the time, my opinion tallies with his, but sometimes it really doesn't. Yeah.
Sometimes he does go a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't agree with him. So
yeah,
on certain things, and you know, I don't know. Sometimes I feel he's making a video out of nothing, and then every now and again he does this character called Sexy E Coco.
Sexy Coco, yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Well, I part of me finds that quite offensive because
is it massively racist, or it just?
I
Oh, I didn't know it was him.
No, he's just doing a sort of a typical, I don't know, sort of some sort of
kind of black guy.
No, it's almost like he's pretending to be a gay black guy who.
Yeah, but with homoerotic overtones. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, oh, I don't know, is that in good taste? Is that
Yeah.
am I was I thinking his channel was missing something? Was that needed? I don't know.
I didn't even know it was him that did that. Who did the voice? It's so different to his regular chat.
Yeah.
I thought he was the person he invited on until the joke said he was being absolutely really obnoxious. I thought, oh, this is some character that he's doing. But yeah, Sexy Coco. It's not very often he does it, is it? It's like once every couple of months.
Yeah, he
calls like the PlayStation quadruple, and he always says like, you know, like he always puts something. Ification is a little thing he puts at the end of everything. He's got the best graphical ication, you know, of all the consoles, all that stuff. Yeah, he's good. LGR we've already mentioned. Forgotten his name now. He has a name. I forgot what it is.
I don't know.
Clint.
Is it Clint?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like a Clint.
He does look like a Clint, doesn't he? If you watch his history, he's gone from being like he had this humongo beard at one stage. But yeah, he's mostly DOS. Yeah, if you look at some of his early videos, but he mostly does DOS, isn't it? And PC and a lot of Sims.
I was watching one of his videos the other day, and he did a review of the Spectrum 48K, and I thought, oh, I wonder what an American's opinion of the Spectrum 48K is. So
yeah, it'd be like, what the hell you would think.
I watched it, and he went to the effort of buying the machine, getting the tape deck, obviously, and then he had to buy a step-up converter, a separate plug that went into it so he could power it, and then he needed to mod the machine so it had AV out, so he couldn't get any sound going through. Then because that was a PAL signal, he had to get some other PAL to NTSC conversion box. So he had about 1 million different boxes all the way around this Spectrum just to get it going on an American TV.
Kind of weird, isn't it?
And I was like, oh, bloody hell.
Like, yeah.
But he did like it, so I liked him after that.
I think he did one of the Amiga 500, and again, it was the same thing. He was like, yeah, these are all, you're only going to be able to get these in Europe, really, so you're going to pay a lot of shipping. You have to get all the games at PAL. There was very few American games. Obviously, we're sitting here thinking, you know, we're like overflowing with Amiga games here. I'm sure you've got
exactly.
like wodge of them in your store. They're difficult to get in with the boxes in good condition. That's what annoys me about it. About Amiga collecting, and the discs might be screwed, the floppy discs. But
yeah, that's it. They've been near a magnet or something, or a speaker.
There's loads of weird quirks that I'd forgotten about when I play an Amiga game now. Like, kind of digressing again, but I have to address these things. Obviously, the loading times are very long. So you know, Mortal Kombat, I played that recently in my 500, and it's 2 discs, but it's about 3 minutes before you get to the title screen. And then
I never, because I went from the Spectrum to the Amiga, I always thought the Amiga was just everything
Lightning,
low
yeah.
lightning. It was so fast, you know.
Oh yeah, because I get it, when I had an Amiga originally, I didn't have any, I wasn't biased because CD consoles were still massively expensive. So I was happy to wait for a couple of minutes, and it wasn't an issue. But now when I go back, I'm like, Jesus, these are bloody long. And also, like, games tend to play with a big black border around them. Sometimes the game only actually is about half the screen, which is kind of weird. And I'd also at the time you didn't really think anything of it, but now you're like, wow, they look like that. Yeah, so they have kind of aged a bit more than maybe the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive versions. Although there are some multi-plat games where the Amiga got. I played Desert Strike for the first time in Yonks on the Amiga, and it was actually the Amiga version was the best one.
Oh, was it?
It had better sound. I played the SNES version like a couple of weeks later. I was like, God, this is terrible. It's all right. It's not like, but the sound is really crap, and you've got like the little fellas that you rescue, like dotted around the map. They actually yell out, "Over here, help me," and stuff like that. Well, they don't say anything in the SNES and the Mega Drive ones. They just walk around. But yeah, the Amiga's got loads of little extra sound effects. It's actually got proper explosion sounds. So just like a white noise buzz that you get on the Mega Drive and shit. So yeah, it got. Sometimes you get better. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 on the Amiga. Don't go there, girlfriend. It's like it's. I think like the Game Gear version might be better, to be honest.
Oh man,
which is saying which is I'm not the Amiga could have done a really good version of that, especially if they focused on doing a 1200 version. It would have been the best out of all of them because of the extra power that it had. But yeah. Anyway, we were talking about YouTube. Have you got any that you want to add?
Yeah, I was going to go. There's the one called the Game Historian, a guy called Howard Norman, and the Gaming Historian. That's what he's called, and that's part of the Retroware TV family as well. And
I think he is. Yeah, I think he actually meets up with the Game Chasers.
I think he's been on. I know he's been on there a couple of times. But his videos, they come out like you get like 2 or 3 a month. But when you get them, they're just this is good. You just know that he's done his research, and it's going to be really, really interesting. And a few of them is they're just on sort of really interesting subjects, stuff you haven't heard about before, or stuff that I did know that, but then in the 10 minutes he's talking about it, he's very engaging. You go, oh, I didn't realise all those other things, and that was the reason. Oh, that's. Oh, actually, I've learned something here.
Yeah, there was
the history behind it.
I think it was him. I did a Grand Theft Auto one. There was a couple of things like the original Grand Theft Auto, some of the May design. Obviously, you're now part of Rockstar. They tried to get. There was a bunch of people that within the company that tried to get the first Grand Theft Auto cancelled because they didn't think it was going to be popular. And their original inspiration for Grand Theft Auto was Elite, and they were just like, oh, it's basically Elite, but just in a city instead of a spaceship, which I think actually really makes sense when you think about it, because it is basically that.
Well,
city, not space. I thought that was really cool to hear that.
I thought Elite was a space trading game, and thinking about Grand Theft Auto 1, there's not much trading going on.
It could be a space trading. I mean, I'm playing a lot of Elite Dangerous at the moment, but it could be a space trading game if that's all you're interested in. It could be a space combat game if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto is not any sort of a trading game.
I don't think they meant it from the perspective that it's about trading. It was literally just the freedom of
that makes sense.
You could just mess around for a while and not even bother trying to complete the game when the game doesn't force you to do anything. It was kind of from a freedom perspective as opposed to literally, it's which makes sense. But he's good for that. You get these little tidbits about your favorite games that you might not even know, which is kind of cool.
Another one that I really like, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a guy called Kimball Justice.
No.
No. I'd recommend if you want to open up your search bar now and bring up Kimball Justice.
I'm not opening my search bar up for you. Thank you very much. Not the kind of girl.
He basically does videos, and he did one quite recently on Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker.
Oh, I love that.
And
Yeah.
he was just talking for about 20 minutes about Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker, and then all of the other snooker games that came out of that. And it was absolutely, it was really, really interesting. And he's got quite an odd voice, and well, I don't want to,
imitate.
Imitate or cast any assumptions across
the interwebs.
Yeah, the interwebs sort of about him, but he's very, very knowledgeable and very engaging, and and he does a huge amount of videos, and for the quality of his videos, I think he's only got about 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers. Now, to us, that's probably a hell of a lot. But his content is as good as The Game Historian, as good as LGR, in my opinion. In some instances is probably better, but his videos are absolutely 10 out of 10, cracking. So I'd recommend anyone to search Kimball Justice, and that'd be great. And finally, is the GameSack, or GameSack.
Oh yeah, GameSack. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, and they did now I think this is an example of how Patreon and all the payments is working for YouTubers, because they used to do a video once every 2 weeks. It always used to come out in the UK on a Sunday morning, and I'd always get up going, oh, I know there's going to be a GameSack video, brilliant, and I'll always watch it and I'll always really enjoy it. And now, because they can actually earn a living wage from making videos, they're going to do one every week. So fingers crossed, touch wood, the quality will not drop, and they will continue to make them. But it was quite funny. This week's video was about the Amiga CD32, and they basically it's this is
very
one of
underrated. The CD32. Americans won't necessarily get it, but it's actually one of the best. Now it's become one of the best Amigas, because you can lob a whole load of games burn them on a disc, and it'll play them.
Yeah. Well, they don't quite agree with your statement there.
No, they wouldn't.
And
American.
I'll be honest with you, I looking back, I never bought one. I didn't particularly want one, and sort of looking back at them playing the games, for it being a 32-bit system, a lot of the games did look quite dated, and they weren't
it's a funny one, isn't it?
Too good, really.
Yeah.
And it pains me to say it, I love the Amiga 1200. That was absolutely great, but that was great because you had a mouse, you had a keyboard, and you could play Championship Manager. You could play The Settlers. You could play Theme Park on it. You could play a few action games if you wanted. But that was the type of game that I liked. But with the CD32, it was almost, it was just platformers that were just made on the Amiga 500, ported over, and it just wasn't a console.
Yeah, it was kind of, they would slap the disc game onto a CD and just put a funny little CGI intro that would look terrible now, and just give it a better soundtrack. But so at the time it was a bit rubbish, although it sold actually quite well in the UK. It sold better than the Mega CD. Well, that's not saying much, really, is it? But it was kind of a minor success. But now I think it's actually a lot more useful. If you just want an Amiga that you can plug in your telly, that plays pretty much anything a 1200 will, although there are some caveats, as you've mentioned, like you can plug a keyboard and the mouse straight into it, I think.
I think it's got a keyboard slot, but there is an expansion on there, so you can put in extra. They're extremely expensive.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but like if you just want basically an Amiga 1200 without the keyboard and the mouse, but you can plug a separate one in, and you can literally get a CDR because it will run CDRs. You can burn a ton of ROMs onto you could fit a huge chunk of the Amiga library because it will play any. It won't play. It doesn't need specific special CD32 versions of games. It will run A500 games off a CD. You have to burn them in a special way, but nothing too ridiculous. You can basically play any Amiga game. The issue is when you have something that requires a mouse and a keyboard, you can get one that will plug in. And there's also some issues if it looks for a particular Amiga 1200 feature, like it needs 4 mega RAM or something. But there are big expansion boards that you just say you can plug into it, but they're very expensive. They're expensive then, which it basically turns it into an Amiga 1200. There's one called the SX64 or 32.
It's something like that. This,
yeah.
And I'll be honest, Trevor, you'd also have a problem saving the game because you wouldn't have anywhere you could save it to.
Well, it would have built-in memory, not much, like the 3DO and the Mega CD.
I know, no. Well, yeah, I know. But what I'm saying, if you played the copied games, and you were playing one of those, you wouldn't have anywhere you could save to.
Yeah, I don't know if some people have modded like 500, Amiga 500 games to when you burn them onto a CD, it will look for the RAM, the save RAM, so it could allow you to save. But yeah, I can't imagine it does, to be honest. So you might be a bit screwed. But yeah, you could plug in a big expansion that it'll cost you a few £100 if you can even find one. And it gave you all it went in the back, didn't it? And it gave you all the ports to the 1200. And it was basically turned it into a fully fledged Amiga 1200 with a CD drive. But to be honest, it's cheaper. If you wanted that, you're better off just getting an Amiga 1200 and buying a CD drive, which would cost less than the expansion on its own these days. But yeah, so they're a bit better now with the CD32 in terms of use. They're great. It's all an Amiga you can plug in, and also don't use the pad that it comes with because they're horrendous. Use get the Competition Pro, which is basically a Mega Drive. I think actually a Mega Drive pad will just plug in. I think so you can just use that. But yeah, they were a bit naff at the time, but they're a bit more useful now. As is the Amiga 600, which was also crap at the time, but is actually kind of good now because you can plug SD cards into it.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, so
exactly. You can. Yeah, the IDE socket and everything. So.
Yeah, it used to have. It's where a hard drive would go. Yeah, now it can run
that's right.
You can have every single Amiga game on a 4 gig SD card, which is great. Which the 500 can't do, I don't think. So yeah,
it can do. But it's a lot more difficult.
You have to put in the disk drive or something, the actual floppy drive.
No, you can do things like that.
Sidecar thing.
Yeah, there's two different ways of doing it. You can put things, a USB drive in the floppy disk, so that sort of thinks it's a floppy drive, but you can on the inside somehow sort of solder in an IDE connector or something like that. But I'd just go down the 1200 route. It'd be much easier. And
you can do the SD card thing that I just mentioned on the 1200.
Yeah.
You just open it up, and it's a piece. You can buy them off eBay for like £20. You can load it up with you have to get modified. It's called WHD load. It's a bit of software that you have to set up. You put on the SD card, and you can run every Amiga game that ever came out on a 4 gig card. It's great, and the loading times are faster and all that stuff.
Exactly. So moving on. So hopefully, guys, you've got some ideas there, so for some good YouTubers to follow. But you were mentioned earlier about Windows 10.
Yeah, which has recently come out, yes.
I know I've not upgraded to it. Because my PC is quite old, and but I know you have.
Yeah, so it's a free upgrade.
Any problems?
Yeah, a few. So it's basically it's a free upgrade, which is great for the first year if you have Windows 7 or 8.1. But yeah, I initially upgraded, but it did break a few of my games. Sorry to cough there. Yeah, it broke a few of my games. So I couldn't play NBA 2K15. It wouldn't load at all. I was like, oh, okay. And unfortunately, it's too early to be able to go into a forum and say, hey, everybody, NBA 2K15 doesn't work on Windows 10 because no one's, people haven't had the chance to test these games yet. So the forums aren't loaded with comments of people not finding the solution to this stuff. WWE 2K, so 2K sports games, it seems. WWE 2K15 wouldn't, well, it would run, but I couldn't get it into full screen mode. It would just stay in a little window, which is very irritating because you're whacking quite a big border around it. So that wouldn't work. And a couple of games that that require the disc also might not work, or games that use something called Securom or Fate or Safe Disk. And annoyingly, they're games like Mass Effect and Dead Space and sort of 2002 to about 2008. And also any games that use Games for Windows Live, which is this terrible Xbox Live kind of thing for the PC. You have to download the Xbox Live Games for Windows Live client, which Grand Theft Auto 4 is probably the big one that everybody will get annoyed about it not working without that. There are ways around it, like the games that require the disc in the drive. You can find no CD patches. So apologies, this is all kind of gibberish to people that aren't PC gamers, but basically it's just a file that replaces the exe file for the game, because the original exe file will say, right, you want to play me? Cool. I'm launching. Oh wait, I got to check if the disc's in the drive. No, it isn't. Right, bye. You're not playing. Whereas the no CD patch will be a replacement for that exe file that will be like, great, you've executed me. I don't care if there's a disc or not. Let's go for it. Let's play the game. A lot of those games from the mid 2000s, the actual developer of the game would release this patch officially. Like Grand Theft Auto 4, for example, they actually released a patch that meant you didn't need the disc anymore. So it just run it straight off the files that are installed to your hard drive, which is great. But some of them aren't. Some of them never did. I think maybe Mass Effect is one. They never actually released a no CD patch, but pirates did. They obviously, with the pirated version of the game, obviously you're not going to have the disc because you've downloaded it. So the exe files for them will allow you to play the game without the disc. But that means you kind of have to delve into the slightly murky world of pirating games, which of course I know nothing about. So yeah, Google at your own risk. So yeah, it basically annoyed me with those sort of little bits. And thankfully, you can very easily revert back to Windows 8.1. And yeah, so I did that. I actually spent most of the weekend getting Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City and San Andreas to work in Windows 8, which I did successfully. Now, I don't think that would have happened in Windows 10. I'm not sure how good it is with sort of games of, sort of before, with that kind of era. But hopefully after a year or two, there'll be patches, people would work out how to fix them.
I mean,
so I'm going to wait till then.
Whenever a new operating system's come out, Windows Vista, XP, 95, 7, whatever it's been, people have always come in and go, oh, no, it's rubbish, it's rubbish, it's rubbish. Oh, no. And it's just because a few things are in different places, so people think is rubbish, basically. Yeah. But obviously, you and a lot of other people have got major compatibility issues, which, as someone that doesn't really use my PC, if I had one that could upgrade to 10, I probably would have upgraded and kept it, because I thought, well, actually, I do all my gaming on consoles or retro consoles.
Yeah.
So, for me, PC is not really for gaming. So I'll be the guy that go, oh, actually, yeah, I like it. Well, things are in a bit different place, but I've got used to it. It's okay. Blah blah blah. It's fine. So
it's not all bad. I did manage to go and try some other games out. I mean, GTA 5 worked fine. I didn't notice the performance was any better, but it worked.
Were there any good points about it?
Yeah, there is. Especially if you're a gamer, you can now stream your gameplay, and it's built into Windows. You haven't got to do it with the thing with the PC is you have to download some software to stream. There are 3 ways of doing it, but they're a bit fiddly to set up. There are things like XSplit Gamecaster, which is like a little app that you run in the background that will stream to Twitch your gameplay, but you have to pay a subscription for that, which is a bit of annoying. But it's now built into Windows where you can stream to Twitch, probably YouTube as well. So that's great. You can also, although I've been doing this for ages anyway with a different app, but you can record gameplay like you can on an Xbox, PS4. Although I've been using some software called NVIDIA Shadow Play, which lets you you hit like you set a hotkey. It's like I think it's Alt and Spacebar is what I set, because that doesn't clash with any game, and it will just save the last minute of gameplay, or 30. You can set it to whatever 30 seconds. Well, that's now built into Windows as well, so you haven't got to grab another app for that. And there's an Xbox Live app. I'm not sure if that talks to any games yet, so you can get achievements. With PCs, there are achievements, but it's with Steam and it's with Uplay and the various stores. That then they're all separate. If you're into that, and games for Windows Live, but there's that, which is kind of cool, and you can stream Xbox One gameplay to a PC as well. So you've got your Xbox down. So they're kind of like the Wii Pad, the gamepad, the Wii U gamepad. You can use like your laptop as like a Wii U gamepad, effectively, where your Xbox is in the living room, you're in your bedroom, you want to play it, you can just ping your Xbox over to your laptop screen and you can play it with the Xbox One controller. I haven't tried, well, I can't now because I'm back down to 8.1, but apparently it's, there's any lag or anything, and it's 1080p. I think it's 60 FPS as well, which is great. So yeah, there's all that stuff is actually good, and it's got rid of the annoying Metro thing as well, where it tries to pretend your computer's a tablet. It's brought the start. Basically, it's brought the start button back.
Right, I'm sold, Trevor. Right, sign me up.
If you're not a gamer and you won't have any clashes,
yeah, sign me up.
You should go for it. As it's free, you should go for it. And to be honest, even if you are a gamer, I have a lot of quirky, weird games that are old and could be broken. Well, WWE and NBA aren't, but if you're just starting out, maybe this is your first computer and you're going to get into PC gaming, Windows 10's fine. And the final thing is it's going to have DirectX 12. And now, if you're not a PC gamer, like, what the crap is DirectX 12? It's basically the little bit of software that lives in Windows that basically creates runs the games, takes the code and all the assets that are in a game and gets it all running and paints the graphics on the screen effectively. Great thing about DirectX is it's backwards compatible, so I can play Grand Theft Auto 3 on a modern PC without having to download an emulator. It's natively running. You can't do that on a games console. That's what's great about it. But DirectX 12, it's got a few new things where if you've got a graphics card and you've got the built-in Intel graphics, it will use the Intel graphics with your graphics card to give you a few extra performance boost. And it's got a few extra effects and things like that previous DirectXs won't have. But at the moment, no games really take advantage of it. But in a couple of years, or maybe 3-4 years, it will become a minimum requirement. So when FIFA 18 comes out, you'll have to have Windows 10 because it will say needs DirectX 12 on the back of the box or whatever. So yeah, there's that as well. So that will become a great thing once games start to adopt DirectX 12. 11's pretty good though. You got Grand Theft Auto 5 works on it and everything. So yeah, that's Windows 10 in a nutshell.
Right, sounds good.
Proceed with caution if you're a PC gamer, I think is what I'm trying to say. I'm sticking to 8.1 for the time being. But ask me again in a year and I'll tell you if I've switched yet, I think is probably the thing there.
I think so. Give it a bit of time.
If it messes with my GTA 3 install, forget it.
No, well, I'll probably play on the PS2, I reckon. But
just get a PS2 emulator on the PC, yeah, done.
Oh no, you can't have emulators. Not for something like that. It's just you got to play it on the right. No.
Yeah, I've got PS2. And is it actually no? Is it on PSN? PSN?
You should have it all. You should have it always set up.
Get a 60 gig PS3. And you can run it
set up. Always have it set up.
I used to, as you know, but yeah, it's too much. You got too much space.
All right, Trevor. I'm gonna let you go now. And,
let's go. We've gone over an hour, haven't we? So yeah,
we've done about an hour and 20 minutes. And to be honest with you, I was really getting a bit short on sort of subjects to sort of talk about beforehand.
Yeah,
but I think we've done okay, actually.
We've done pretty well, considering. Well, yeah. So in that case, like we say it every time, but we are sincere. We are going to try. We are going to try and do these more often. Every 2 weeks is always the aim. But yeah, hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll see everybody again.
No problem. Thanks so much there. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.